Good morning and welcome to Keeping It Real. I'm David Grossman. It's great to be here on All Talk TV at the kiosk. You're watching Keeping It Real. We've got a great show for you here today. It's Sunday morning. My, oh my, it is cold out there. People, winter is definitely here. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's got to be well below zero. That's the way it felt to me. Poor Alberto, our new intern, he came here by bus. He was waiting outside in the front of the studio. You know, young guys, they want to look cool, so they don't wear hats and gloves, right? So it's so I feel for them. But listen, they do look cool. He is a very cool guy, and we all made it. We're all here. All our guests are here. We have guests from all over the place. First of all, I'll introduce you to Savannah Ross, AKA Rich Mom, a real estate investor who has overcome amazing things in her life. It's amazing. Sometimes the lower people go, the more trouble people have in their lives, the higher they go to if they stick with it and fight and they just blossom. And it's amazing. Savannah Ross has achieved amazing things, and in a very short time. She is a real estate investor. She educates, helps others to learn and change the world, and she's here today in the studio. We're glad we have her here. Welcome, Savannah.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here.
We also have with us today Ron Singer. Ron Singer is an old friend. He's an insurance agent, does investment advice, travel insurance. He also ran for councillor recently. I forget which ward, he'll tell us. And it's RSP season. So Ron says that you don't get an award for being patriotic and paying the most tax. So RSPs are a good thing to consider. It is that time of year. And we'll talk to Ron about segregated funds, different types of investment opportunities. Very good guy, he can help you out. We also have a young lady by the name of Teresa Rene, who has recently started a company. It's an online marketing company called Designed to Connect. She's here with us in the studio. She came up for Stratford. It's no coincidence she's in Stratford. She also used to be on the stage, so I'm really excited. She's going to be a natural on camera as well. I'm sure it's great to have her here. So that's what today's show's about. So let's start with Savannah. Savannah, you've had some amazing challenges in your life. At one point, you were facing the threat of bankruptcy. Your niece or nephew had passed away.
Yes.
Very tragic loss. I understand your son was told that he may just have a few hours to live at one point. You suffered a car crash. You yourself were paralyzed.
I was.
And you have, in a matter of 6 months, somehow, you were able to turn your life around. Can you tell us where you were and what happened and how you overcame these things?
Well, you often hear, I've heard the saying that people either act out of desperation or inspiration, and unfortunately, not too many of us take inspiration to heart and move forward. We often have to go through some very difficult challenges before we have the drive, the determination to crawl out of the mess that we're in and get to another place. So I'm grateful for the challenges that I've had in my life because they've allowed me to have that drive. But it was a really difficult time. We were told that our son had a few hours to live. Fortunately, he's going to be 9 in March, and he is still dealing with a lot of challenges, but it's been a real blessing for us to be able to, walk that path with him and really stay focused on what's important.
So he's okay now?
He has a lot of
He
health
still has
challenges.
some issues.
Absolutely.
Right.
But he's a great little kid, and he's just a wonderful blessing to have.
Right, that's terrific. So, where were you? I mean, how did you were in a place where you were facing bankruptcy. Your husband was a teacher, I believe. You were a makeup artist?
I was.
Right.
I was a makeup artist. I was married to a teacher at the time. I'm now a single mom.
Yes.
And, we were kind of living paycheck to paycheck, but doing quite well. Felt we were fairly responsible financially, paid our credit cards off at the end of every month. And, we didn't have the fancy boats and didn't travel a lot, but we were doing okay. We didn't realize just how vulnerable our situation was, where one little thing goes off and all of a sudden you end up in a lot of debt. So within a matter of 6 weeks, we had a house fire. My 6-month-old niece passed away. Oh. And then the teachers went on strike, and then the news of my son. So I ended up spending 8 weeks at BC Children's Hospital at his bedside, and being self-employed, I had no income coming in. So a lot of people believe that we have free healthcare in Canada, which is so far from the truth. We have free healthcare in Ontario.
Right.
And in British Columbia, we pay for healthcare. So that was pretty much the main part of the financial downfall for us. And we ended up finding ourselves $400,000 in debt.
Wow.
We were getting foreclosed on our home, facing bankruptcy.
How long ago was this, Savannah?
7 years. It seems
7
like
years
yesterday.
ago, right?
Yeah.
And you ended up, you were having marital problems at the time
Absolutely.
as well to make things worse. Because sometimes,
Absolutely.
you know, if you have a strong partner, it can help a lot. But that too, the marriage was also falling apart.
And it has been dissolved since
It has
that
been
time.
dissolved.
Absolutely.
So basically whatever could go wrong.
Everything. I was like a
went
country
wrong.
music song, you know, the dog died and everything was going downhill really, really quickly. But I'm stubborn, like a lot of people are, and I think sometimes we need to get hit really hard before we wake up and smell the coffee and say, I got to make a change here with my life.
Sometimes it's a blessing.
Absolutely.
Right. So then you thought you would need to sell your house. You called up your real estate agent and you said, we have to list the house, we have to sell the house. And he gave you a book.
He did. He gave me a book to read, started talking to me a little bit about real estate investing. I thought he was crazy. I had no money, no credit. I was in debt, bad credit, and I thought, who in the world is going to lend me money
Good question.
to buy properties?
Yeah.
But I figured, you know, if other people can figure this out, there's got to be a way to make it happen. We hear about, you know, Donald Trump, who's gone bankrupt a couple of times and
Sure.
has managed to revive. So there are options out there. And I went kind of in the back door and started really researching what actually happens in the business, not what you see on the front end, but I started talking to experts in the field, realtors, mortgage brokers, insurance brokers, home inspectors, and really did a lot of research. And I figured this is pretty much a no-brainer. It's a black and white business. It's tangible. And I jumped in 2 feet, and the rest is kind of history, as they say.
So you managed to figure out, despite all these issues, you managed to figure out how to get into the market. You started buying properties, and now you are like one of the top buyers of real estate in Canada.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us more about that?
Well,
What kind of real estate do you buy?
I buy high equity, high cash flow real estate. It's the only thing that I'll focus on. It's not about the sexy stuff or the pretty stuff. It's about the numbers.
Okay.
And so I really focus on having high equity and high cash flow. The first book I wrote was called The Domino Effect. And it's essentially how I've processed all of my real estate is by using one to leverage onto the next and onto the next.
Right.
And it's a really great strategy. It works phenomenally well. A lot of the top real estate investors in Canada are students of mine who have used the same system to become successful. And it's proven itself. So it's been really great.
And you want people to come to your courses to learn how to be successful and then to go out and do philanthropy. What's your goal?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a sappy story, right? People listen to me and they go, that sounds so sappy. But I am a girl, and really I have a lot of gratitude for all of the things that I've had in my life. I'm walking again, which was never supposed to happen. My son is alive, and I just am on a mission to make an impact on the world. I'm so grateful for the blessings that I've had, and I want to change the world, but I can't do it by myself. What I can do is I know how to make money. Now, I'm not all that interested in making a ton of money for myself. I want to use it to change the world, but I also understand that most people want to make money. And I sort of have a silent deal with everyone that I work with is if I help you become wealthy, you're going to go out there and make an impact on the world. And it has been so successful that a lot of the people that I've worked with that have become multimillionaires are now out there in the world building orphanages and hospital wards and working with seniors and street people. They all have their own little niche, but indirectly now I have a bigger impact on the world, and that's really what my goal was.
Well, it's a pretty awesome story, and I'll tell people that they can learn more by going to your seminars, which are a frequent. In fact, you have one today. There's at a golf club today. Let's see if I have the details if people want to go. I don't know if there's still space. Secure Your Future with Proven Strategies, today at 2 o'clock at the Peel Village Golf Course. If they go to your website, they can register, savannahross.com or savvyfreedom.com. We're putting the websites up on the screen. People, I'm planning on going to one tomorrow night. There's also one tomorrow night, Monday, January 21st, Real Estate Investing in Toronto, Today's Economy. If people sign up, they can go free.
Absolutely.
To the workshop. 3 hours tomorrow night in Mississauga from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. or they can get tickets at the door for $50. So, great opportunity to learn what it is that you're doing and how they too can become successful.
I'm actually really excited about the event tomorrow night. A lot of people are scared right now because there are a lot of changes happening in the economy they're listening to their neighbors or their employers and thinking that this is not a really great time to invest. But the only people that are really not afraid right now are the investors. So I really want to empower people, teach them how to kind of jump through the hoops and make things happen. It's a really great time to invest in Canada. And I'm going to be sharing a lot of the tips, strategies, techniques tomorrow night at the event.
Let's talk about that for a moment, because I think that's interesting. We've had at least a couple of people in the studio not too long ago talking about all these investment opportunities in the United States. And you are a true patriot.
I am.
So tell us, why Canada?
Well, number one, I believe that we need to stimulate our own economy. We have to live here and let's stimulate the economy. I love Canada. Everybody loves Canada. But really, I think that the leveraging power is the biggest thing. A lot of people will go and see these performers or deals that they can find in the United States that are maybe sending back a 20% return, whereas the ones in Canada are only turning back maybe a 10% return. But if you've got to put 80% down to buy a property in the States, or 100%, you're paying cash for them, you're not really leveraging. And I think the minimum that you can invest in the United States right now is 40%, where you can invest in Canada anywhere from 5 to 20% down. So you're actually being able to buy double the property for the same amount of money.
Right.
You're also stimulating your own economy. There also is the fact that when you're buying in another country, you don't have any say in any of the political laws that are happening. You don't have any control, and they can really pull the rug right out from underneath you at any time.
Right.
And it becomes a really big challenge to refinance your property, which is kind of a key to how we make our money and leverage one property onto another.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. So support your own country, you know, as part of it, and also with the smaller down payment requirement, you can get more leverage, and it's also local. So you know, you can hire a local lawyer. I can imagine if you had to foreclose, or if there were issues with a property that was out of state, I mean, or out of your country, it could be a lot of hassles. You don't know the local laws and other things. So, interesting concept, and makes sense. Makes sense.
The other thing, if you look at our country, it's such a vast country. There's always areas in Canada where there's good deals, and somewhere it's not such a great place to invest, but it changes all the time. So there's tons of options when you're looking at a big country like ours. And I really love the fact that we are conservative and stable economy.
Yes. Okay, so people, be sure to check out the website, savannahross.com or savvyfreedom.com. And sign up for one of these seminars, and learn more about how you too can be successful investing in real estate. Savannah, thank you very much. Oh, we wanted to mention, because we've been rolling these photos,
Right.
and people are probably wondering who some of these photos are. So we should just mention some of your friends here. One of them is what was on the screen. That's Nick Halleck, Thrillionaire.
Yes.
Love the name.
Yes.
And I was doing some research, so I'm going to go out and buy his book, Thrillionaire.
Wonderful, wonderful. Great story.
And Les Brown, he's one of the most famous motivational speakers, I understand, anywhere.
He's the motivator.
He is the motivator. And then Greg Reed, we see there, who is a speaker and a filmmaker.
And he's also the spokesperson for the Napoleon Hill Foundation.
Right.
Made a huge impact in people's lives.
Right. That's
Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich. That's a classic.
Actually, he just put out another book called Think and Grow Rich, 3 Feet from Gold, which is a very similar story, but for today's age, and it's a really phenomenal read as well.
Right. Yeah, I went out, I got that book for my son, because I know when I got into business for myself, it was the book that I started with, and it was awesome.
Great.
So they say that it helps to, if you want to be a certain way, you got to associate with certain people. So you have friends in the right places, and they're thinking about doing speaking circuits with at least one of these gentlemen I know.
I speak with all of them.
Yes.
We've done a lot of speaking engagements together, but what we share as a common goal is we all are philanthropists and really want to have a positive impact on the world. So it's great to be able to work with people with similar values. And it's true, you are a product of the 5 people that you're closest to. So you want to be successful, you need to hang out with successful people.
Well, there you have it, people. So you want to hang out with Savannah Ross today at 2 to 4 or tomorrow night. Check out the website. If those dates are not available, you can go to a future session, and I might see you there. We have coming up after the break, we have Ron Singer. We're going to be talking about RSP season, and then a little bit later in the show, we have Teresa Rene from Design to Connect. She's got training sessions coming up on online marketing later in the month. Very key, very important stuff. Hang in there. We'll be back after this break.